If you were to ask me where my story begins, I'd tell you about a rainy afternoon in a city that never sleeps, where I found myself lost in a dream. My name is Olivia, a 25-year-old digital artist who once believed that the vibrant pixels I created could shield me from the grayscale of reality. My parents, living miles away in a village that time forgot, always encouraged my art, their voices a comforting echo in the solitude of my urban life. It was on one of those downpour-drenched days when the city seemed to sigh under the weight of the clouds that fate, with its twisted sense of humor, introduced me to Nathan in the coffee shop, a sanctuary from the storm outside. My endless deadlines became the stage for our unexpected meeting. He was there, a 34-year-old financier whose smile could rival the sun itself, making the rain seem like a mere inconvenience. Our usual spots seem to have been claimed by the weather, haven't they? He remarked, noting the crowded space that left us sharing a table. I remember laughing, the sound more nervous than I intended. Seems like it. I'm Olivia, by the way. Nathan replied, his hand extended. It was warm, his grip firm yet gentle, much like his presence, comforting and commanding in a way that intrigued me from the start. Our conversation flowed as easily as the rain outside, with stories and dreams weaving a tapestry of what I thought was the beginning of something beautiful. Nathan spoke of his world in finance with a passion that mirrored my own for art. Yet, beneath his words, I failed to see the shadows of traditionalism lurking, a harbinger of the storm to come. In the weeks that followed, Nathan became a constant in my life, his charm seamlessly blending into the canvas of my daily routine. But it wasn't long before Catherine, his mother, entered the picture. Her views on family and duty were as rigid as the iron gates of their ancestral home. Nathan's support, once my solace, began to crumble under the weight of expectations I never agreed to bear. You have such talent, Olivia, but don't you think it's time to think about your future, our future? Nathan's words, once filled with warmth, now felt cold and distant. I remember staring at my latest creation on the screen, a riot of colors that felt like a rebellion against the grayscale world Nathan and Catherine envisioned for me. My art is my future, Nathan. It's not just what I do, it's who I am, I replied. But as his mother's influence grew stronger, so did the pressure. The suffocating tapestry they wove around my ambitions left me gasping for the air of freedom I once took for granted. Nathan's request for me to abandon my artistry to become the perfect corporate wife felt like a betrayal. It's for the best, Olivia. You'll see, he said, his voice a mix of condescension and false reassurance. Feeling the walls closing in, I did the only thing I could, I pretended to comply. My art became my secret rebellion, my silent scream against the oppressive grip of Nathan and Catherine's expectations. I poured my soul into my work, each piece a testament to the freedom they sought to steal from me. My earnings funneled into a hidden account were my lifeline in the darkness, a beacon of hope that whispered promises of escape. But secrets, much like storms, have a way of breaking free. I saw your account, Olivia. How could you betray me like this? Nathan's voice, once sweet, was now laced with venom. The confrontation that followed was the spark that set my resolve ablaze. On a night as stormy as the one that brought us together, Nathan cast me out into the darkness, a decision he would come to regret. Standing there, the cold rain mingling with my tears, I realized that this was not the end of my story, but the beginning of my rebirth. The chains Nathan and Catherine sought to bind me with had been broken, and in the tempest of my despair, I found the strength to reclaim my life, my art, and my freedom. Little did they know, the storm they unleashed would be their undoing. Huddled in the dim light of a hotel room, the storm raging outside mirrored the turmoil in my heart. I had lost everything in one fell swoop, my home, my partner, and momentarily, my faith in my art. But as the night gave way to the gray light of dawn, a fierce determination took root within me. Olivia, I've seen many cases of betrayal, my lawyer said, her eyes reflecting the steel in her voice, but your determination to rise from the ashes is something truly remarkable. Let's make sure justice is served. The legal battle was arduous, a chess game played in the shadows of the law. Nathan, caught off guard by my offensive, scrambled to defend himself. But how could he defend against a truth he never believed I would tell? The evidence of his betrayal, once hidden in the shadows, now shone brightly under the scrutiny of the court. As the gavel fell, sealing Nathan's fate and granting me the divorce along with a symbolic victory, a weight lifted from my shoulders. It wasn't just the end of our marriage, it was the affirmation of my freedom, my right to exist as I am, not as someone else wished me to be. But the sweet taste of victory was tinged with the bitterness of the past. Nathan, once a man I believed I loved, was now nothing more than a lesson learned. His fall from grace, both in the courtroom and in the court of public opinion, was swift. The financial empire he prided himself on began to crumble, his reputation tarnished by his actions against me. In the aftermath, whispers reached me of Nathan's descent into despair, his mother Catherine by his side but powerless to stop the unraveling of the world they tried to force upon me. It was a cruel irony that the very principles they sought to uphold were their undoing. Yet, as I stood in the glow of my art, surrounded by accolades and the affirmation of my talent, I realized that my revenge was not in Nathan's downfall. No, my true revenge was in my unyielding pursuit of my happiness and success, in living my truth so loudly that those who sought to silence me could only watch in silence. In the months that followed, my life became a whirlwind of creation and recognition. Each piece I released was a fragment of my soul, a narrative woven from the threads of freedom and resilience. My digital gallery expanded, each artwork a silent rebel shouting my story to anyone who would listen. Amidst this whirlwind of newfound recognition, I took my first steps towards legal retribution. Nathan had not only underestimated my resolve, but also the strength of my silent rebellion. I sought out the sharpest legal mind in the city, a woman known for her prowess in the courtroom and her empathy for those wronged by those they trusted. "Olivia, I've seen many cases of betrayal," she said, her eyes reflecting the steel in her voice, "but your determination to rise from the ashes is something truly remarkable. Let's make sure justice is served." The legal battle was arduous, a chess game played in the shadows of the law. "Nathan,